becomes more important. It's great to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, forget about gambling those pendant dungeons. Did we just see the Cadence Mario pickup with 2 Cadence Marios in the hash? All right, this might be an indication of something.
I mean, maybe, but yes. And already we've got route divergence. So we've got Osse with a tried and true Uncle routing, shame, and then we've got Kohrek heading up. I suspect to Lost Woods, wanting to get a kill so we can get a tree pull. Osse grabbed a signpost, also good for a tree pull, and it looks like our tree pull is magic. So yeah, that's not bombs or rupees.
Yeah, but you know, early magic with that Cadence Marios can be pretty nice. You have at least a semi-permanent weapon to work with.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Osse, this is the one time where Uncle Routing does actually pay off, because Cadence Mario means if he wants to, he can go all the way to the bottom of Escape. Because he's got, you know, weaponry.
Yeah, for those of you guys who play standard mode, Cadence Mario is one of the starting weapons, so if you're a fan of that, you're definitely going to get some practice and advantage here.
Yep, and it appears without not saving and quitting means that is indeed what Osse is doing. So we're going to see the bottom of Escape pretty early here in this match. Meanwhile, it looks like Aghanim tree was, I believe, triple bombs. So, I mean, we're going to have to kill Aghanim anyway because it's all dungeons, but we're not going to do it very early, so...
Yeah, certainly not for those 3 bombs, considering Kohrek actually got 4 bombs from the bush crab, so it's kind of a nice drop there early on. He's going to be pretty well prepared for Kakariko.
Yeah, the advantage to like the start this way that Kohrek did is that you get tree pulls, you get bush crabs, you get to kill a few enemies, so you're really maximizing your chances of, you know, picking up bombs or rupees or something. So.
Yeah, and with that 50 rupees from the Sanctuary, he's just going to have to farm up a little bit more money in order to pay off Bottle Vendor as well. So it's a really nice jump start. Meanwhile, yeah, Osse picked up 300 as the first chest in Escape. So he'll be more than set.
Yeah, he's setting up nice here. Now, it'll depend on what the rest of Escape ends up being here, but I mean, just having that checked off your list, not having to worry about it later, is nice. And who knows, we could get some hot stuff out of this place.
Yeah, of course. All right, so this chest that Osse is getting now is technically not logic because we still need to find the Hyrule Castle small cube. Certainly that. Okay, Kohrek is like really finding the progression here. Moon Pearl and Glove so far out of Blind's basement.
Well, I mean, it is Kakariko villages, or village. There's only one me. It's not villages, but yeah, I mean, you can't sneeze without hitting a chest. Wow. Okay. Well, there's more.
Yeah. So yeah, Kohrek picking up Blue Mail, of course, in the Lost Woods. Gonna be some nice early defense for him. Yeah, but with that lamp, I mean, no dark rooms today.
Wow, that guard really just snuck through that Cadence Mario block there. I was actually really impressed by him dropping it, but yeah, he went just around the top of it. All right, so Escape not being super valuable, but Osse does have the advantage of being able to have routed it in relatively quick, cleared it well. It's one less thing to worry about, and he's also got 300 bucks, so he'll be able to kind of blow through a lot of this stuff without having to worry about money. Meanwhile, the Kakariko slot machine continues to pay out as we pull out a mirror from the well.
Yeah, that mirror is going to make death warping a lot nicer, especially early on. So that Blue Mill and whatever number of heart Kohrek is going to pick up is just going to be really great safety, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to find powerful enemies to try, you know, in dungeons to try and get out. Just going to use that mirror.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Osse. So Osse is doing the not checking lumberjack route. Now, this is definitely faster in terms of just getting the items that are available, but it does not give you, you know, eyes on what's in the lumberjack tree. You'll see a lot of runners. I mean, everyone's so used to, you know, the boot start modes that have been playing in like SGL and a few of the other modes, but you know, a lot of runners will put off lumberjack until they actually have you know, boots, because they'll tie that in with like the bonk rocks next to Sanctuary and stuff. So I do like this play from Osse for sure.
Yeah, and of course, like, you know, on the flip side, right? Kohrek, you know, headed up to lumberjack. He has the early knowledge, right? So if something in this case were probably kind of important to be on lumberjack, then, you know, Kohrek could influence Kohrek's decision to try and find and do Castle Tower earlier rather than later.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely like there's not a correct and incorrect way. It's just, you know, definitely two different approaches. In a one-up and like a heads-up one-on-one format, sometimes the knowledge is more useful, but like definitely skipping it until you have the boots, like, you know, makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally reasonable.
Meanwhile, it looks like library. Was that a big key or a small key? It looked like a big key.
Either way, we're not going to be able to find out, unfortunately, without this. I actually unfortunately missed it. So.
No, I'm trying to throw you under the bus, Claire Mouse. I
Okay.
demand that you answer my question. No, I'm pretty sure it was a big key. Maybe Jack can bail us out.
Yeah, I just do see something else that Kohrek does something more often in Key Sanity is that he just blind checks the race game more often than not because we have maps and compasses shuffled into the item pool. That item could end up being more often useful or not. In this case, it was just a hard piece, but another seed could have been very different.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Like, I was actually curious to see if Kohrek was upon grabbing the cane of Samaria would just be like, you know what, I'm going to escape. I can do it with this cane. But it looks like he does have his heart set on. I mean, we're essentially one item away from Dark World access right now. Either a hammer or another glove upgrade will do it. So
yeah, maybe Kohrek is trying to kind of hold out and doing the castle because because this is Key Sanity, the 2 Castle Tower small keys are shuffled. So if he can find one, let's say in South Shore, then he can actually make 2 additional checks when he goes up to Hyrule Castle and does his.
Yeah, and actually, now that you say that, having the mirror would probably also influence his decision as well, because if he can do that a little bit later, he can warp from the pyramid and just kind of really reduce the amount of walking you do on the overworld, which again is without the boots is not insignificant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also 80 keys is certainly one of the longest running modes. So on average, probably around like 2 hours or so. So certainly hoping for both these runners' sake to find boots early because we have to walk for 2 hours. It's really, it can definitely feel like a slog after a while.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so Kohrek did go out of his way to check out Agina's cave here. Let's see what we pull out here. All right, one of many pod small keys. Pod small keys are always interesting to find because, again, because of logic, a lot of the, keys in there, like, you have to have a lot of keys for all the chests to be in logic, so it's always an interesting thing to keep track of.
Yeah, and certainly I haven't seen this too much this particular season, but a common thing that sometimes people do is they save some pod keys as well. So it's always kind of interesting to see like what can they kind of pull out from pod in multiple trips.
All right, so we get ourselves a back of escape check here. Pretty straightforward when you got those mitts, especially in a Key Sanity where the odds of finding that, you're pretty much never going to waste or utilize a small key there. So getting that out of the way and checked is always a good thing.
Yeah, it did confirm on Osse side that it was indeed a mystery big key file, so I'm no longer under the bus this time. Thanks, Osse, for bailing me out.
Oh, I'll throw you under I'll throw you under a different vehicle later on. Don't worry about it. I've got my pushing gloves on. I'm all ready. Let's do this.
Kohrek already found the power the power gloves files.
All right, so we're gonna see our mini Moldworm cave here. We'll see what Generous Guy's got for Kohrek. Cane of Samaria makes this annoying, if not relatively straightforward. So it's a game of tossing blocks. You don't want to throw them into the black void, though, Kohrek.
Yeah, I was actually kind of curious if Kohrek wanted to kind of pick up some extra bombs before he came over here from the bush crowd, but maybe it just wasn't on his path because he only has 4 bombs right now.
But if he were to use bombs instead of that glorious show that we just got right there, I would have been so disappointed.
Yes. Not often you can see Samaria's cave, or the Samaria mini Moldworm cave.
Well, we pick up 300 rupees, so this is actually interesting. Meanwhile, both Osse and Kohrek using the quick swap mirror out of Sanctuary. It's always chef's kiss to see that. But we do pull 300 rupees out of Generous Guy Cave. So now one thing that Osse got that Kohrek has not gotten was that 300 rupees out of Escape. So if he wants to like fake flipper to Zora or something right now, he will not have the money to do it unless he gets lucky in Ice Rod Cave. So that could be a point of divergence for these runners. Meanwhile, Osse says, money, give me all that money, give me all your monies, because he ended up doing a houlihan.
Yeah, Osse is going to be somewhat, I don't know if he's going to be disappointed or not, because, we did see Kohrek pull out that 300. So it turns out in this case, the houlihan wasn't necessarily as important. But, Osse, that means he's going to be set for money for the rest of this game.
I'm pretty triggered about that one blue rupee that was missed for a second there. I'm not going to lie, I'm scratching my neck.
If that blue rupee comes back and haunts Osse, it's just really on him.
He'll be like 5 rupees short for the dig game or something.
Yeah.
I mean, with the money he's inevitably going to find in Mini Moldworm Cave, I don't think we'll be too worried. But interestingly enough, Kohrek did opt to save and quit out of Ice Rod Cave, so he'll be doing the escape now. He will be finding that extra pile of cash. So, meanwhile, Osse does pick up as you suggested, Clearmouse does pick up the extra bombs from the bush crab there. All right, we'll see if Osse fares any better with Canis Samaria here.
Yeah, we got some combo action going on.
Wow, mixed strats. Yeah. I like it. Oh, look at that.
That is pretty execution.
That was cool to see. I like it. I'm telling you, a quick swap. It makes a lot of strategies that were not a thing before.
Oh yeah,
suddenly available.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine like the menus that you have to like pull basically out like over and over just in order to clean out this room, like with both of them? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, especially early game too, where there's less things in your inventory, it makes quick swapping, between items. Not that Canis Samaria and bombs are like especially far away from each other. And you're not in like a zone where like accidentally mirroring, because mirrors in between those two items. Like that's not especially punishing or anything, but.
Yeah, if anything, if they accidentally mirror, we just get to hear the mirror sounds in this case, since it's not a dungeon.
Yes. Well, I will say that this check that Kohrek is doing is something that I don't believe Osse did.
Correct. He just did the back of escape, and he did not do Dark Cross. Speaking of which, Kohrek is going to follow in Osse's footsteps this time. Going to pick up his resource items. We'll see at the very end if he decides to mirror out and then does at least like the first check of Aka Tower that he has access to.
Yeah, agreed. I think the mirror definitely makes that decision a lot more straightforward for Kohrek. But I mean, he's going to be in the same Canis Samaria boat that his opponent was in here. We've got even more divergence though, because it looks like Osse, having gotten the money, is going to go for the fake flippers. So yeah, I'm curious if he's going to head up to Hobo. Looks like he is.
Yeah, and with the Moon Pearl, right, this is going to especially incentivizing because he can actually still do Waterfall Fairy, and those are going to be 2 additional checks.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll be able to get eyes on the Zora Ledge and see like how hard you want to commit to pulling that item out. So.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure on every single version of Ancilla Splash Deletion, but I think there is some combination where they can do it with Samaria and bombs. So
yeah, no arrows, no boomerang, but I think there is. I'm not an Ancilla expert either, unfortunately, but I know Canis Samaria is like super key. So I think with just that and bombs, I think there's a way, but we'll see how it goes. But either way, I do like this routing from Osse. It's he's going to be getting a lot of checks, even though these aren't necessarily in logic. The Zora check is in logic, so getting the rest of this stuff done, on the way, is a good idea.
Yeah, especially for something like 80 keys, right? The whole goal is to try and be as efficient as you can. So if you can combine things, even if they're slightly out of logic, right? If you can only make one trip over here to Zora, like that's more power to you.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so we're going to be seeing that waterfall check you mentioned from Osse here. Let's see if it was worth it. Osse's already cash money load. Osse is so rich, he just leaves 5 rupees on the ground. He's like the Bill Gates of Hyrule. Not worth his time.
That's right. In order to go pick it up.
All right, well, here's your splash deletion answer.
That's right. All right, so Kohrek, demonstrating that he can. Oh wow.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say it and sound like a moron, but I was pretty sure that 1 bomb plus the four fireballs from the block were enough Ancilla, but Kohrek proven me right. So.
Yeah, so speaking of which, I hope Osse knows something similar because we saw the first sword on Zora Ledge, so hopefully he's going to be able to pick this up. I guess the answer is no.
When you pick up the Zora item,
that's right.
You end up getting put back in the swim state. So, it could be that he wasn't comfortable with the Ancilla attack, or was just in a bad swimming position, which is either way. But he does know it's there, so it'll be easy for him to get back to it if he so chooses at a later time here.
Yeah, and to some extent, this check isn't super isolated, right? Because we have the mirror, we're sort of going to go to Dark World eventually, and so we can always combine this later with Catfish. So it's not like hard isolated, but of course it is a sword, so you're probably going to come back here anyway.
Alright, so Osse opting to head up Death Mountain. It's definitely interesting. He continues to put off the lumberjack check, which you could pair with this check, but again, you won't actually be able to get it until boots anyway. So I do like the tech. So yeah, Kohrek having, I think the problem, you need a real specific pixel setup there, and that is one of the more difficult splash deletions without arrows or a boomerang, I believe. So Kohrek saying, I don't want to spend a ton of time here with this sword that's not in logic, so
yes,
does bail on it.
Yeah, so in Logic Tech, though, from a gift from the old man, we got the big key to Thieves Town, so that's going to be a really nice trick into Dark World early.
Yeah, that puts a couple checks in Logic for sure. It's just nice to have, especially in all dungeons. Seed, it's like, it's one of those items that's hard required for the game. So Kohrek having similar ideas as his opponent here.
He's remembering that he needs bombs. That's heads up.
Yeah. That's game knowledge right there. That bush crab specifically right there is not often checked. So good on him for remembering it, because it'd be one of those things where you get up to the top of the mountain, realize you don't have any bombs, and you're like, well, crap. I mean, obviously he can't get over to the east side of the mountain quite yet without the hammer or the hook shot.
so speaking of the hammer.
Wow.
All right, so Osse's going to be able to make a little bit more progress here up the mountain. Kohrek's going to follow suit very shortly. I'm really glad to see Kohrek picking up those bombs because, just in this exact case, right? It's like you have access now to keep going, and so if you want to go over to Paradox Cave, you're going to need some bombs.
Yeah, I mean, and you could take a peek at Hera. I mean, obviously you can't finish it. No hook shot, no big key. Wow, both are running. It's just having terrible luck in Death Mountain. I will say, in Osse's defense, most people learn that bomb jump with Link's shadow and the sword icon, either against a telepathic tile or with another tile. So not having the sword there does make, depending on how you learn that bomb jump, a little trickier. Meanwhile, Kohrek just gets bodied by sky cabbages. So
yeah, that.
But Kohrek has to keep going though, so that's just straight up time loss. Whereas I think falling down the bomb jump kind of solidified Osse's mind. He's like, you know what, I'm just gonna head to the Dark World, put off the right side of Death Mountain for now. Can always come back later. Could pay off, if he comes back with mitts or something like that, he'll have more to check over here that he can do all at once. It is immediately.
Oh my gosh! Oh,
this hype cave! Oh my god!
Actual hype game! Holy cow! All right, so Osse is going to be the first one of our runners at the 17-minute mark to find the boots, which is a super fast mobility item, but also more importantly, he does also find those mitts. So putting off Death Mountain for Osse is definitely the right call in this particular seed.
I gotta go to the website. What version of this randomizer? Is this version 17? Or what's going on here? That was a 9 out of 10 hype cave. I think the only thing that made that hype cave crappy was that the last item was a piece of heart.
And files
pulling off that bomb jump, by the way, that was nice.
Yeah. and files for completeness, right? Osse did miss that 5 rupees earlier in Hula Hand Room. The NPC guy from Hype Cave gave the 5 rupees back.
Oh yeah, so he's like, hey, you left this somewhere. You left this in the cave. That's I don't even know how I get there. It's crazy. So we are seeing more route divergence here. Kohrek heading up Death Mountain will probably head to the right side, I suspect, after he takes a peek in Hera. Again, with a mirror, these checks aren't quite as costly, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, no hook shot for Kohrek, so he can't actually get up there. And so with no big key, he's going to take a peek at Hera and then bail out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to commit to doing this and the other Death Mountain checks, there's zero reason not to do these, so... Yep, and obviously, Hera did not pay out, but those are 2 less in logic items he doesn't have to worry about, so he's going to head over to the east side of Death Mountain. Meanwhile, Osse is finding all kinds of small keys here. With the mitts in hand, it's possible he might just head up to the other parts of the Dark World here. We do have that Thieves Town big key and the hammer. The only thing that we're missing for full completeness of Thieves Town, I believe, is the other Thieves Town small.
Yeah, and certainly, that Thieves Town small key can be anywhere. So I certainly wouldn't blame Osse at all for just basically full playing Thieves Town. And then, if it gets isolated, then
Yep, and props to Osse for remembering that there was a important item in the library here, so he is going to be picking that up. We'll see what this big key is. All right, Desert Palace. That is another hard required big key. So
yeah, very, very important. So it looks like we actually, we have all the access we need to Desert, at least to beat Lambo, including that fire source, which is our lamp.
Yep, can't argue with that.
Meanwhile, Kohrek has to deal with mini Moldorms here with just a hammer and that really finicky hitbox.
Yeah, having the boots in Spiral Cave and then not being able to like dash because you don't have a sword is like the most frustrating thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm so close to greatness, and like there's no hook shot either, so you can't like cut your dash and use it. You just gotta play dodge, unfortunately.
Yeah, actually, you in fact, you bring up a really nice point, Files. You know, Osse, even though he is the first one of our two runners to the boots, neither one of our runners still has that sword. So yeah, even be able to dash through Spiral Cave, even though you want to, you're just gonna get bodied left and right with enemies. Speaking of which, alright, Kohrek, combined, the game is playable for our two runners who are picking up our first sword.
Alright, so meanwhile, I had honestly forgotten that Osse had picked up a bottle, so he is able to get the sick kid check there. Kind of getting all these village checks out of the way. Did correctly remember that you cannot enter Thieves Town with a follower frog behind you. Thieves Town has a strict no frog policy.
Oh yeah, that's
no amphibians allowed.
Alright, so we actually do see that despite Osse having the boots, he is slowly walking and hammering down these pegs. The reason why we don't see that common after hammer dash is because you still need a sword in order to item dash.
Yeah, hilariously enough, secondly hilariously, the first hilariousness is that sweet bow that he just picked up. But if you attempt to a hammer dash, the bounce back will still show a sword in your hand, even though you don't like actually have one.
Oh, really? Today I learned. Alright, Kohrek!
I believe so. Meanwhile, Kohrek hitting up that hype cave. He's like, booyah. This fourth item has got to be incredible if the first three were any good, but it was just a piece of heart.
Yeah, you know, I hope Kohrek simply doesn't feel too annoyed. The fact that he's like, oh, I just went through all of Spiral Cave, like, without the boots. And, you know, but it's like, he didn't really pick up, you know, boots any slower. It's like 5 minutes slower than Osse, so certainly not that much of time loss. And of course, you know, because he has a sword, right? He's gonna be able to item dash through those hammer pegs.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think the sword definitely helps make up some of that time. I mean, the boots are definitely important and they save time, but you know, it's not like they save like 2 hours every minute. Like
exactly. I was actually told it was 3, but it's okay. Oh, maybe that was quick swap.
Well, yeah, quick swap saves 3 hours every 10 seconds,
oh,
so
okay.
I don't. Sometimes I finish seeds before I even start them clear mounts, and that's how good quick swap is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kohrek is you know, kind of back clearing some of these items. A real similar route that Osse took to get through here. Osse does remember C-shaped house. I was a little worried there. I didn't think he was gonna forget it. He was just kind of went right by it with the frog. So curious to see. Thieves Town basement without the small key is kind of one of those like Ice Palace big chest kind of gambles. It's like you hate to do it, but if it's there and on the way, you know, it's just like, all right, I guess this is one thing I'm just gonna have to remember that I still have left.
Yeah, I mean, there are 7 items here in Thieves Town, right? It's pretty lucrative, right? To like, at least you can at least check the first 4, but you know, you have 3 more checks on logic. And chances are by this point, right, your opponent maybe has also not gotten the Thieves Town small key. So if you do this, right, you're not any worse off than you were originally.
Yeah, I'd say the big difference between the runners here will be that Kohrek, again, he'll have that sword, so his dash lines will be cleaner. His blind fight is going to be faster and easier. I'm sure Osse is more than capable of either hammer or Canis Mariing blind, but you know, it's one of those things that even if you do it well, it takes more time than the sword. The sword is just faster.
Yeah. You are 100% correct, Files. Yeah, meanwhile, Kohrek demonstrating that not a lot of runners kind of know the mirror spot back to library, but at least, you know, this is good for both runners in that they remember that there was a big key on the library to they could get.
What was that, Clear Mouse? You're saying inverted is a garbage mode? I can't believe you would say that, Clear Mouse. I can't believe. Wow, what a
awesome
crazy
Files.
hot take that is. You're so rude. Jeez.
I'm sorry, Donko.
I didn't say erosion. No, yeah, all joking aside, yeah, it's knowing that spot right there is especially important in this mode and as well as inverted. So, but meanwhile, Kohrek showing off that hammer dash we were talking about there, does get business done, picks up his bow. Meanwhile, Osse, as I mentioned earlier, was saving that lumberjack check until he got the boots, which makes a ton of sense because there's all these checks you could do. You know, now that you have the boots, so he knows he does not have to prioritize, you know, lumberjack. But there is a small key, an unknown small key in Bumper Cave there, so cape could be required depending on what that key is.
Now,
All right, here.
Go for it, Miles.
Oh, I was just gonna blather. Is to say the bonk rocks end up not being super important with a compass there. So far, all these boots have done is made us happier and smile on the inside, but they haven't actually given us any items.
Yeah, so I am actually curious, you know, so Osse is deciding to kind of take the north route for a Dark World, and this is going to be very efficient for him, where he's going to be able to check King's Tomb, he's going to check Graveyard Ledge. I am kind of curious to see if he will current jump over to check Catfish, and then also mirror over and see if he can maybe take another stab at that and sell a splash deletion to get that sword. Or maybe he'll just end his route here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I think ending the route after King's Tomb, although I'm trying to remember if he did the back of Escape, because that would be a solid way to end this route as well. But either way, I suspect he'll probably end it here. If he was going to do splash deletion, I suspect he would have planned for it, so he might have other things in mind. I mean, with mitts in hand, he's probably thinking really hard about Death Mountain right now, because not only if he does that, there's a ton of checks there, but he'll also be able to get eyes on Turtle Rock, see what the entrance requirements are, and get a whole bunch of items. So.
Hey, look like all the stuff in the back of Escape is now officially in Logic. But Kohrek just picked up this command key to Hyrule Castle. I'm sure Osse did that much earlier.
Indeed.
And yes, confirmation is that Osse did do the back of Escape, so that's at least going to be a little bit more off his mind. Now, he does not, I believe, did Dark Cross, so it is going to be somewhat isolated at this point.
All right, you called it. The current jump is happening. So the way this trick works is if you throw a bomb, and essentially the bomb kind of pushes you against the bottom of the screen transition. Oh no!
Wait.
He saved it. He saved it.
Wait, can you
but yeah, it's essentially like fake flippering, where you just use a bomb to. Wow, that Hinox was just really wanted to be part of this bomb jump. But yeah, essentially the bomb just knocks you against the bottom of the transition. So if you hold down, it kind of puts you in a fake flipper state. And wow, he basically got it first try that wasn't under Hinox pressure. So really cool to see there from Osse.
Yeah, kind of even worse that Osse had to deal with that Hinox without a sword, right? So it's not like you could just kind of like swipe him away, right? He had to actually like go use some game knowledge to basically spend another one of his bombs.
Yeah, for those of you that did not know, Hinoxes do die in one hit to bombs. So, I mean, obviously it was good thinking since he already had them out anyway, but still a heads up play there for sure.
All right, actually, okay, so it looks like both Kohrek and Osse decided to just do the front four of Thieves Town. No one's gonna kind of keep going, and Kohrek is going to be a little bit more divergent, picking up the purple chest. And then probably going to turn that in. Oh, Catfish giving us a second bottle with some red potion. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. All right. Looks like you. I'm a big fat liar because it looks like Osse is going back for this sword here.
So it looks like he has the bow pulled out. So maybe he just wasn't comfortable with the Samaria deletion, using Samaria. And like if you have 30 arrows, you have 6 bombs to work with. Maybe he's just more comfortable with the setup.
The nice thing about the arrows is that the Ancilla stay on the screen because the arrows like kind of stick into the wall or whatever. So it's just it's a little bit easier to pull off. So
purple chest turn in for Kohrek. It was a small key to GT,
and he nails it.
Yeah,
nearly first try. So really impressive work from Osse with glitches in the last minute or two here. Was able to get that current jump over the side, and does get the splash deletion back here with the arrows. So.
Yeah, certainly Osse's route in North Dark World, ending here with that, does net him his first sword. When he eventually goes back up the mountain, he's going to basically be a Master Sword. Kohrek will have to spend some extra time getting, his own sword somewhere else. With that hammer and with the bow, and it looks like, how many small keys do we have here to pod? 2? 1?
3, I believe, for Kohrek.
3,
so, I mean,
okay. Yeah,
and we do have the Eastern Big, too, so... I mean, it makes a lot of sense. We got the bow, we got the hammer, we got the mirror. Like, there's just a lot of things that you can get done over here, even though you don't have the pod big key. And keep in mind, yep, there we go. Neither runner, I believe, has checked Sahasrah's garage. So,
Jeez, Ossie's getting bodied here by all these guards. Thank you,
Ossie just
for,
kidding.
for
Oh,
taking
poor
care
guy.
of him.
I mean, he has a real similar idea here, in terms of, you know, getting stuff done over here. You got the bow, you got the big key. Looks like we got Turtle Rock small keys in Sasha's garage. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things over here to get done. And ultimately, what the goal of all dungeons is to get the dungeons done. So you can get Eastern Palace done. You get a bunch of stuff done in pods. So these are all places that you most likely would have to go anyway. So Hera is our green pendant. It looks like we might have known that already.
I think we knew it very slightly early on Kohrek's side because it talked to Sahashlo, but I mean, it's very it's very trivial. I was also gonna say though, really thankful for the booths being a hype cave and having these booths here to use in Eastern Palace itself is gonna be a really nice time save.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, no cape here, so we can't actually just quick swap to cape and dash through these those cannonballs. But you know, Kohrek's got some relatively good RNG.
Not saving that 1 second. Shake my head. But yeah, I do like the Eastern Palace play first. Kohrek has a definite advantage here just because of all those small keys, I believe, for pod that were on Death Mountain. So he's going to be able to get a little bit further, but even knowing that, Ossie is still going to be able to get some work done, you know, by going through the right side of pod and just being careful with how he spends his 1 key. So, and who knows? I mean, this is all dungeons key sanity, and this will not be the first time something. Wow. So there's another another pod small key in Eastern Palace there. So that brings Kohrek's total up to 4, which is the bare minimum required. If you hammer jump, have the mirror, and skip the other key, that is technically all you need to full clear. But you don't have a pod big key, so you can't get the big chest. You can't fight the boss. So curious to see. I do not think that Kohrek is a fan of the pod merry-go-round where you have to save 1 key and you go around and around pod just to not open that 1 door. You know, that math could change when you're staring down the face of only 4 keys. But maybe the lack of a big key, you know, might change his mind about key routing.
Oh, wow. If that was gonna be the pod, yeah.
I was waiting for that to be the pod big. I mean, Misery Myra, that's another big key we need, right? So, I mean, already this decision is paying off. I mean, we will need, at some point, we will need to see the flute for Misery Myra for that to be super useful, but
yeah, I was actually pretty
tempted. Paying off for sure.
I was pretty tempted to say that the second pod key, you know, for pickup on Ossie's side is actually be a little bit more beneficial to him because he is going to be at least able to make a little bit more progress, right?
Oh, that's a really good point. In terms of difference maker, I mean, 3 versus 4 keys without the big key in pod doesn't really mean much for Kohrek. I mean, it helps a little bit, but that 1 extra key gives Ossie a lot more play in terms of what doors he can open, what chests he can get access to. So, you know, obviously a lot of places in pod are not in logic, quote unquote, until you have all 6 keys. But we're awesome randomizer players, and we like going outside of the logic. So. Oh
no, Kohrek.
Oh, Kohrek, your NMG practices failed you.
I think he was just like a pixel or 2, like short, like
and then he bonked.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we didn't talk about it much before the game, but this bracket is pretty competitive, and as you can see, Shaktil's digging game is at 21 points, and They Vetoed Our Acronym is at 18. So I mean, every game matters here. So it's the stakes are high in terms of league progress. You know, I don't think anyone in their group is locked for playoffs or anything like that. So.
Yeah, before this match, Shaktil's digging game has a first place record of 21 points, but then there's like a 5-way tie for a second. But and the
All right, let's see if his Armo's set up. It looks pretty good so far. Hasn't moved out of the way. All right, does get the quick kill, so there we go. And rewarded with a small key. Oh, I was hoping it was gonna be a pod small. Come on.
Yeah, but now that's Kohrek's second GT small key. So if there's something in the basement, you know, like because he pulled 1 out of purple chest, it's gonna give him a lot more flexibility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably gonna be a pod small key in pod, right? Because why the hell not? All right, Ossie got a little off, but wow, that was a really nice recovery there. Shot an extra arrow into the side of the wall and was still able to get. I'm actually super impressed. That was cool to see.
Yeah, almost simultaneous crystal pickups happen to be also Eastern Palace on the 34-minute mark. There also must have been a lot more health, I guess, in Death Mountain, because Kohrek's life bar is at, what, 9 hearts at this point, compared to Ossie's 6, soon to be 7?
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're already seeing some key usage decisions from Kohrek here. I think this is Kohrek saying, you know, I acknowledge that I might need another key here, but because I don't have the big key, we're just gonna make this as fast as possible.
Yeah, if one thing that Kohrek is not a fan of is going to be triple mimics. So he definitely just only wanted to do this part once.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's so much time. Like I cannot emphasize enough how much time you lose by having to do the pod merry-go-round. Like I mean, we're talking minutes. So you know, I think just not having the big key, you know, it's not like this. He's gonna have to come back, right? Unless the big key is exactly in here, he's gonna have to come back. So he's like, why not make this be faster? You know, I could just not have to worry about that key. And honestly, in a key sanity, you know, if you bomb jump, and both these runners know how to bomb jump, you know, you're only going to need 5 anyway, so it's, you know, I really like this call. Osse, on the other hand, does not have that same luxury. He's sitting on the barrel of only 2 small keys, so he basically has no choice. He has to leave that door locked until he can kind of come back with a little bit more rougher options. So.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, as you mentioned, this is a pretty high stakes game. You know, with 2 very, very talented runners. You know, if you are going to bleed something, like the last thing you want to bleed is going to be time versus like accessibility.
Yeah, definitely. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see Kohrek unlock the Harmless Hellboy door here, just because he has that other key, like
Yeah,
just to get that one other check in. So I could also see putting it off, but wow,
right.
shovel.
Yep. All right. So Kohrek's picking up Gem's lucky shovel. Hopefully, it'll you know, do him well for the rest of the game.
I think it only works for his teammate.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Team spirit. Yeah, as you said, Files, you called it. Unlocking Harmless Hellboy. Unfortunately, just 3 bonds here. But he, you know, Kohrek's got some peace of mind.
Yeah, and he's gonna keep that small key. I do like this play. So what he'll do is he'll bomb jump here. Now, obviously, he does not have the key, you know, to open the big chest, but he'll get the 2 checks in here. And then he does have a key left, so he could come. Yeah, see, just out of habit, he went. Yeah. He went to that chest, but at least he didn't get
but no text box, which is he remember. That means.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really nice hammer jump too.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah, he'll be set up to come back here with just the big key and be able to just go down and beat the boss, and he won't have to go digging for more chests if he doesn't have to. Meanwhile, Osse did have a little misalignment with the hammer jump there.
Yeah. So speaking of, did Kohrek forget he has a mirror?
Yeah,
he just wanted the health refill. But I was going to say actually, so Kohrek, the last check that Kohrek managed to make in the back of a pod was a small key to Thieves Town. So this is actually going to be really nice for both runners once they pick it up, because.
We talked about the mirror. I think he's save scumming this key so he can do this check up here is what I think he's doing, because he had to get a save and quit spot for there. So now he can check this spot, and if it's not worth it, just do a console reset. Hopefully he remembers the trick for. I think he's using a Super NT, so I'm sure he's familiar with it. But
yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, Files, you are so on the ball today.
Well, I mean, it just doesn't come up very much. Kohrek was in a spot with those 4 keys and no big key. It's just it doesn't come up super often. Poor Osse just cannot get this hammer jump to work.
Is Osse? Yeah.
He did a whole bunch of stuff that was crazy hard with that sweet kern jump and the splash deletion setup, but it's just hammer jump just seems to be eluding him, unfortunately. But Kohrek did not find anything worth getting in that check, so he will get his key back. So basically the only item that's left for him to get is going to be the big chest, and of course whatever's on Helmasaur, and both of those do require the big key. So.
Alright, okay, so it looks like Osse is going to kind of give up on the Dark Maze stuff. So this is actually going to be a point of difference between our 2 runners. If there's something in the Thieves Town big chest, this is going to be a very big advantage for Kohrek. Because Kohrek found the small key to Thieves Town in the back of the Dark Maze. So when he goes back and fulls clears Steve's Town, he will actually be able to get that check, where Aussie looks like he's actually not going to be able to.
Yeah, we've actually had some interesting divergence here, and actually one of them we're going to see, in addition to that excellent point you just brought up, we also have Osse is going to get, he's going to get these checks done that Kohrek has already done, but he will have the mitts when he comes over here. So he'll be able to get a few more things done in the Dark Death Mountain, as well as get eyes on what the Turtle Rock entry requirements are, to see if we still need to look for ether or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking
Meanwhile,
of which,
that map check, I believe, gave us the missing info in terms of crystal pendant decisions. So yeah, both Swamp Palace, I believe, was a pendant, and I believe it was Ice Palace. I'm sure our awesome tracker, 2D Tones, will keep us updated on that. Sometimes the automated tracker can be a bear to fight with, so. Meanwhile, Kohrek, as you mentioned, now that he has that Thieves Town small key, there is zero reason to put off the rest of this place. He has to clear it, and it's full clearable. So, and he'll have a sword and boots. So,
oh my gosh, yes! Like,
look at those door dashes lining up on the torch. Feels good. Feels right.
Yeah, Kohrek's gonna put in. Oh, this is where his NMG practice really pays off here.
Oh, Osse got robbed. See, now he's doing Spiral Cave, and he's got boots and a sword, unlike Kohrek did when he went through here. But then he got hit by a blue electric berry. So life's not fair, is what we're trying to say here at Rando. Really cool movement tech from Kohrek right there, with hammering the switch and charging the dash while the spikes were going. Little stuff like that's always cool to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does have to be a little bit careful with only the fighter's sword, because these crickets still will hurt him, but he won't end up dying from just the fighter's sword.
True, although I think that Sprites is blue mail, so they only do 1 heart of damage instead of the full 2. Going in here like with real low percent is tough, because if you've only got like fighter's sword or no sword and green tunic with like 4 hearts, like that's some Monka S right there.
Yeah, yeah. And thankfully, one of Kohrek's great abilities is survivability. He knows how to not die.
All right, so I'm curious to see what's in the bottom of Turtle Rock here. Or Turtle Rock, Thieves Town. Well, they all start with T.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we did find the big key to Turtle Rock in the attic, and Kohrek did make sure that the floor was indeed bombed. So this is at least good news.
Exactly.
This is actually this is gonna be nice for Kohrek. Oh wow! All right.
All right. Well, so there's some flippy floppies. 100% required in all dungeons. So.
Yeah, and speaking of which, this could now incentivize him to go get his Master Sword over his Zora with Catfish. Also, when Kohrek goes back up the mountain to do all his Death Mountain checks, he'll have the big key to Turtle Rock, so he can probably go a little bit further too if he wants to.
Yeah, I mean we're 1 key shy from the magic 3 keys for Turtle Rock, but with no ice rod, and then lava chest is a thing. So, meanwhile, Kohrek entering blind. I don't know if you knew this, Clear Mouse, but I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. Are you ready for it?
I am listening, Files, with all ears. What is up?
All right. Well, the knowledge I was gonna drop on you is that the flute is in Super Bunny Cave. That was the knowledge. It had nothing to do with how scripted the blind fight may or may not be.
Files, that was actually knowledge to me on both counts, because I was actually just watching Kohrek be blind and I didn't even see the flute picked up on Osse's side.
He can't escape it. All right, so the flute is a huge pickup for Osse, as is these. We to see a hover. Yeah, he's setting up for it, getting that berry out of the way. These hovers are tough. They are not free. They require some specific chest lineups and stuff like that, so it's easy to spend too much time in here messing around. All right, so Turtle Rock is Quake, so that is accessible.
Yeah, I assume Osse's gonna go in. You're here, right? And you could get locked out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to get at least 2 keys is weird because, I mean, I guess he could get with the mirror. Let's see here. That's 1, 2. He could get all the way to, like, for example, I think with 2 keys, you can get all the way to, like, Mimic Cave. So, but, with not having a big key, there's certain parts in there that you just can't get to. And plus, there's no fire rods, so we can't do the right side of the front of Turtle Rock here. But I do like this play. He's already here.
Yeah,
He's kind of
exactly.
taking advantage of. I mean, he doesn't know it, but he's taking advantage of some route differential here between him and Kohrek. And the spots that he's checking right now are 100% in logic. So, you know, there could be something very important here. For all we know, the ice rod and the fire rod and like another turtle rock small key could be here.
But instead, we got some Palace of Darkness knowledge here for our prize drop.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had already processed elimination to that, but yes. All right, map of Hyrule Castle, not nearly as exciting. Yeah, no fire rod, nothing but a master sword. So those pokies die just a little bit slower.
Alright, so talking about more vanilla small keys in Skullwoods. So at least gives Kohrek some more flexibility in terms of how he wants to do this dungeon. Yeah,
big key from Hera.
That
All
is...
right. Yeah, so he's going to be able to get some more stuff done on Death Mountain here.
Yeah, exactly. So this is actually going to be a really nice dip for Osse, right? He is already up the mountain. He doesn't have to make another trip up here. He's going to be able to... he's going to be able to at least get another, pendant? Out of all this.
Yeah, Osse ended up mirroring out there. I think
Did he maybe not want to spend that small key? Or
yeah,
I guess I didn't notice.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. Maybe his key counts were off. I'm not too sure either. But I mean, he does have plenty of other things to do here. Like he could basically do Hera. Now we do not have the Hera small, so Hera basement is going to be a thing. You know, it's just one of those things that you'll have to come back to. So.
Alright, it looks like I'm gonna only assume that Kohrek is doing the North Dark World here, so he's gonna kind of retrace some of Osse's steps, but he is not gonna have to current jump his way over unless I guess he really wants to, because Kohrek picking up those flippers from Thieves Town, he's just gonna be able to dive right in and then just go to the go over to the right.
All right, so these checks from Osse here could be super important because we've got oh, yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't sure if he was in the right spot. There we go. Should be good. All right.
Okay. Those are definitely really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never sorry to see silvers. They just make the Ganon fight that much faster, and they're handy to have in various other spots too, like the Vitreous fight, Landmo and the Ice Armos fight. Like, you know, you're never sad to see those come.
Yeah, just to couple with that point, even though these guys already did Armos with Eastern, right? We've only got one dungeon out of like the 10 that we need to do. There are so many bosses, right? That those silvers usually pay pretty good dividends.
Well, the thing with all dungeons key sanity is that you spend a lot of time doing kind of, partial dungeons because you're missing big keys, small keys, and what have you. And then you start finding items and clearing more overworld, and suddenly you've just unlocked a bunch of stuff. So like sometimes it feels like a lot of dungeons just kind of get done like, bam, 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 and like you're in the last 20, 25 minutes. So. All right, so green pennant pickup from Hera. We didn't know that because Grandpa Sashula told us about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and when Osse goes back and does pot, he's going to be able to turn this in. Or actually with that flute, but eventually when he activates it, it can be also pretty fast check to just kind of flute over to Sahashla.
Yeah, I think this flute is going to be real big for Osse because, faster overworld movement, but it also unlocks a whole bunch of stuff because I believe we have the Desert Small and the Desert Big.
Right.
Yeah, access to Mire. I mean, I guess Mire could be Ether. But if it's not, we do have the big key for it. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that Osse can get done here.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like Kohrek's actually running out of Zora. Perhaps he wants to go back to the Dark World? Or, is this going to be an Ice Palace dip?
Yeah, I'm not too sure where he's going here. He might not have checked Hobo. I don't remember. My memory is bad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I think we did see on the Osse side. I can't quite remember what it was. But yes, Kohrek has not done any of his flipper checks.
But yeah, that third Turtle Rock Small, by the way, that Osse just picked up. Hey, heck yeah, Shovel Dash. Yeah, pick up that heart container. You earned it, buddy. But yeah, the 3 is the magic number for Turtle Rock Smalls. If you have the 4th, you can consider, with 3, you're essentially leaving the lava chest in the center of Turtle Rock. 4 is the max number you can get, but most people will choose to skip lava chest and instead, complete the dungeon if they have the big key. So.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a really nice routing from Osse, I think. So he activated his flute, and then assuming he goes out the Dark World, he can also clear more things. He can clear Thieves Town. He can go pick up Purple Chest and turn that in immediately. You know, Osse has a lot of options right now.
Yeah, I think nothing of real consequence being in. I mean, he'll eventually get there, and some of the big keys that he needs, but you know, like if he puts off Thieves Town and instead does Desert and Mire, which is what I think he's doing, you know, not getting that Total Rock big key and stuff until a bit later is actually not going to hurt him in this exact setup. So, so not having that Thieves Town small that Kohrek picked up is actually, I don't think, hurting him as much as it could have, just because of what was in Thieves Town and kind of the way the seed has been set up. Let's get eyes on. Okay, so I think that was Bombos for Mire.
Yep, that looked like Bombos.
Yep. So we're good on medallions here. Ether sucks. It's the Harry Potter medallion. No one wants it. It's gross.
But it's the fastest one. Oh, Korek's gonna show us some bomb strats here in the thing gator room. Oh, so beautiful.
Nailed
it. Good job, Kohrek.
All right, so we're seeing some divergent routes here. With flippers from Kohrek, this Ice Palace totally in logic. Depending on the now again, no Ice Palace big key, so that's definitely a little bit of a Monka S here. Putting off that or having that chest not be here is definitely worrisome. But you know, Kohrek doesn't have quite as much for great options. You know, there's a few checks up on Death Mountain with the Mitts and a few other places, but with Cane of Samaria, Icebreaker, Ice Palace, like this is, you know, there's a lot of stuff to get done in here. And again, the goal of this game is to beat dungeons, not run around the overworld. So
yeah, I mean, so certainly. Oh wow! Ooh. All right, so we found an ice rod.
All right, so yeah, putting off Turtle Rock is continuing to pay dividends for Osse here, because now he's gonna have the ice rod. You know, who knows? Maybe he'll even find the fire rod before he has to go in again. So we've got a whole desert clear and Misery Mire cleared to go here. So. All right, first Castle Tower key from Ice Palace. That is not only is that one of 2 required keys, but that does open up the last chest in Castle Tower. So that's a pretty good pickup for Kohrek. It's just one less thing to have to worry about. Wow, GT big in. Wow, we're finding all kinds of required stuff here.
This Desert Palace tip here for Osse is really has gotten him a lot of goodies. And yeah, and unfortunately, like, we know that the flute is up in Death Mountain. I'm not sure how incentivized, you know, Kohrek certainly was to kind of go up there versus, you know, doing a dip in here at Ice Palace.
Yeah, there's I mean, you can't, like, both runners being in unique locations, like constantly pulling items, like that's just good stuff. All right, so the Ice Tea chest, perhaps the most annoying chest in Ice Palace, proves its worth by only being 10 arrows.
At least, you know, Kohrek's got some peace of mind, and it actually looks like he's going to be able to get every single item except, as you said, from that big chest. So hopefully, it's not going to be anything important, because Kohrek doesn't want to come
Palace
back
big chest, it's such a pain in the butt to get to. Like, it's just painful. But I mean, after a certain point, it's like, you know, I've got, you know, I've got Bombos, I've got everything else. I got Cane of Samaria to make the actual egress into Ice Palace fast. So like, I do like this decision from Kohrek. So. All right, yet another GT small.
Yeah, so this is, so both, at least this is Kohrek's, I think, 3rd GT small piece.
Bad Ice Palace big chest. Hopefully you aren't required. All right, let's see how Osse does with Silver's Landmo. Should be pretty straightforward. 3 shots, 3 kills. Gets the job done. Very
red. Maybe they're redder than normal. I don't know.
Well, they're just embarrassed at having died to 1 shot of the arrow. And now they're self-conscious, clearly, so you gotta call them out.
I'm sorry, you're right. Hopefully better luck for Landmo too.
Yeah, well, they'll just be angry then. They'll be like, "You killed my brother." It'll be like an anime revenge story or something.
Well, that's why they have a shooter guy. You know, that's their big brother, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see how Kohrek does with. Yeah, he is gonna opt for hammer strats. I do like it. He does get double hits on. Wow, a lot of those.
Yeah,
nicely done.
He did a really good job so far of keeping those those puffs in the corner.
Yeah, and then that really good job was tempered by whiffing about 7 hammer shots in a row.
You know, Kohrek has blue mail. He is going to take advantage of it, because why have it, you know, if you're not going to use it? Oh,
wow, okay. So Ice Palace having all the small keys of relevance. We got ourselves a Swamp Small, so that puts Hook Shotless Swamp Palace on the docket for Kohrek. He's probably
no
just
one
mad.
actually wants to do that.
Of all the small keys to get, you give me that one, you jerk. We got a near 55 minutes Agina check from Osse. He's gonna be real glad to see that it's just a pod small. Yeah, I mean he'll want that at some point anyway, just to be able to clear out more stuff in there. But yeah, it's one of those checks where you just end up putting off because there's a million other things to do, and routing it in when you've got mirror and flute and mitts and stuff like that just tends to make more sense. So I mean, this exact check from Osse right there, that's time he saved over Kohrek, because Kohrek had to walk over the early game without boots. So
yeah, Osse certainly being very efficient here, combining Mystery Mire and Desert Palace together. So this is going to be, too fast what Crystal clears for him.
all right, so Kohrek doing the classic, spend almost as much time setting up for the speed trick than you gain by having it, but he did pull it off, so it was hashtag worth.
He's got a lot of NMG practice, right? So the more you do those spin speeds, the better off you're gonna be.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see how Osse does Mire 2 here. Does have sword beams, which is nice. No fire rod. Does it with the Cane of Samaria block. Well done. Very cool to see. So he does one cycle those Wiz Robes. I was like, Mire 2's like, I gush about it every time I do commentary, but like how runners do Mire 2 in Rando is always fun for me to see, because there's lots of different ways and tricks you could do, whether you have sword beams or not, or fire rod or ice rod or not, or Cane of Samaria. So it's seeing people manage to one cycle the Wiz Robes in there with random setups is cool. So but what's not cool, Clear Mouse, is going into Swamp. Going into Swamp without the...
I really hope that this is gonna, heal something really nice for Kohrek, because, yeah, Files, as you said, going into Swamp Palace without the hookshot is really not that appealing.
Well, I mean, I get it, right? Like, Kohrek's just following what the seed's giving him. He's like, I dove Ice Palace, without the big key. I didn't get a whole lot besides... Kohrek, you had to push... I thought Osse was going to bonk into that. I like this play from Kohrek. It does make sense. Sometimes you just kind of have to follow what the seed's giving you. So
yeah, and it looks like he just really wants to kind of put off that mountain trip, right? Even though he does have access, he probably was hoping that he's going to find a little bit more, like an ice rod, a fire rod, or something else that's going to make his mountain trip a little bit more appealing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'll get to Dark Death Mountain eventually. Like, he knows it's there. It's just and honestly, in an all dungeon ski sanity, like, the question of left side swamp is a lot more set. Like 90% of the time you're probably gonna have to do it. So not having the hook shot does mean it's slightly slower for sure, but like, it's not quite as brutal of a decision as it would be in like a more standard mode, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, left side swamp, as you said, is actually open to Kohrek. It's just like without the hook shot, he's gonna have to make, it's gonna be even more tedious, right? Because he has to make 2 trips up and drop down. So the hope for Kohrek, of course, is to find the hookshot here in Swamp Palace.
I mean, that would be pretty solid. Hey, we do get the does use the door state, extended door state, to dash through the rail there. So Osse definitely showing off lots of cool tech here. I mean, there's a reason these teams are both neck and neck for first and second place in their bracket in the league. So. All right, so there's the capes, and remember there was a random unknown small key on bumper ledge, so that could be like Castle Tower small for all we know. Oh wow! So we know Kohrek's gonna be in trouble.
Oh my gosh!
And was that the other Castle Tower small?
That was, yes. I was gonna say. I was like, which screen were you watching, Files? Because Kohrek actually just ended up fighting both Castle Tower small keys.
Wow! It's a good thing they got 2 of us in here, because like I can't cross-eyed watch these. Like I gotta pick one side. But yeah, so big plays from both the runners here. Kohrek pulling the absolutely required Castle Tower small key from the big chest there. But Osse picking up the hook shot. I would give the slight nod to Osse in this case, just because of he will be able to one visit Swamp Palace when he does eventually get here. I mean, the game, there's still a lot of game left here. For sure, but I'm definitely giving the slight nod to Osse just because of the way the items have broken out yet. But I mean, we still have no idea where the fire rod is. I think we're still missing. Oh no, we do have GT Big. I forgot that Osse picked that up. So
I'm actually just trying to look for any more items that we kind of need at this point.
Let's see here.
We still need pod big, right? Is that our goal?
Yeah, we'll need pod big for sure. I think that's it. Pod big and fire rod.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that was kind of stuck.
Yeah. Bale us out of our wrong chat, but I believe those are what we need for no mode right now. All right. So first left side swamp item, crappy map. Kohrek is just hoping right now. He's just like, if hookshot is in here, I win. But
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. So maybe after this, Kohrek doesn't really have any options left here. He is going to probably be a little bit annoyed that he has to do this without the hookshot, but. Maybe this will be, his motivation to go back up the mountain, which is what we know he needs to do.
Well, I mean, he's not, again, most people are going to do left side swamp. There's still items at large. So, well, there's there's Ether. Now, keep in mind, Kohrek has not been up Death Mountain yet, so he's maybe thinking, maybe that was hashtag worth it. I mean, it's not, but it could have.
Yeah, well, I mean, for him, though, this is definitely peace of mind because, is this going to be a pyramid check, actually?
It could be.
Because he doesn't have the pod big key, so there wouldn't be too much more reason why he would be over here. Oh, he's gonna do pyramid and combine castle tower. So this actually might be like Aghanim immediately with his 2 castle tower small keys.
Oh yeah, you're right. In fact, I would be surprised if that wasn't the case. And in fact, this castle tower is one of the advantages that Kohrek has over his opponent. I do not believe Asder has found a single castle tower key yet. Oh wow, mushroom.
Yeah, lucky us.
Frickin' mushroom. Well, we don't need to worry about fake powdering shenanigans, at least.
That's right. Even though we had the real powder, we already checked. We already checked Magic Bat.
All right, so we have seen Skull Woods. So these are, I believe, checks that Kohrek has already done.
Yeah, that's right. So both runners ended up kind of dipping Skull Woods without the fire rod. So this is going to be neither an advantage or disadvantage for either runner. Of course, also for stuff that these guys are looking for, it would be really nice to be able to find a 3rd sword. Master Sword Ganon is never really that pleasant. And so if you can find that 3rd sword, you can save, it can be a lot more safety and also just a lot better time save.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with silver arrows, it's a little less painful, but yeah, those first few phases are definitely like the. All right, well, so Castle Tower not really paying out. I mean, half magic is nice, but like, it's not super nice right now, and certainly not required. So, Kohrek's just gonna finish up Aghanim, get it done. So this will be something to keep in mind if Osse ends up putting up Aghanim, until the very end with a quick mirror after finishing Aga 2. That will be something that Kohrek has already, gotten finished essentially.
Yeah, and of course, if Osse is, I guess, fortunate enough to do Aga 1 right before Aga 1 right before Ganon, where he's gonna have a free heart refill. That's definitely one of the things that an AD keys you try and put off because you get that free heart refill. But maybe these guys just don't care as much.
Ooh, he's even pre-dashing before entry into. I like it.
This is NMG Aga Tower.
Yep. All right, so we are going to see this small key pickup. We know it's not Castle Tower, and we know it's not Swamp Palace Small. So, but Asder doesn't know, or Osse doesn't know that.
I'm wondering what. I mean, maybe he's hoping this is the Thieves Town small key. We know it's not, but this is something that he hopes for because he's been putting out Thieves Town for quite some time now.
I'm super curious as to what this is. Oh, okay, so it's the mystery Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'll be really nice for Osse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Osse, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Osse kind of deciding to put off going into Mimic Cave might actually be paying off here because, I mean, unless Fire Rod is exactly there, by coming back later after doing some more checks, he'll be coming back with like a big key and more smalls and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, Osse breaking down finally. He's going to do the backup Thieves Town without that Thieves Town small key. We know it's not going to punish him because there's just 20 rupees there, but Osse is like, screw it, I've waited so long for this. I don't really want to put this off anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, and if we continue being in a pod, big key, or fire rod check mode, he could end up wasting time coming back here, which will be time in Kohrek's pocket. So. But yeah, we're seeing more DoorDash lineups from Osse in here too. Like, it's just so much nicer being in here when you're equipped as opposed to doing it much earlier in the game. So meanwhile, it's Blue Ball Festival, which is the lamest festival in Hyrule. I don't know why. I don't know why they have a festival with it. Most people want to forget about it. Beta energy runners everywhere.
I have not even been counting how many blue balls Kohrek has gotten. At least one. Okay, maybe it's only one. Maybe it was two.
Yeah, why bother celebrating the grossness?
And of course, you know, this RNG is fixed between two runners, so Osse's gonna come here with also the same number of blue balls, so it's not gonna be any time loss.
Yeah, definitely. And as discussed previously, Osse does pick up that Turtle Rock big, so more chests that are now in Logic. I mean, Fire Rod could be in Laser Bridge for all we know. You know, we might not ever actually need to go into the right side of Turtle Rock. We do need the Fire Rod to go kill Mothra, and we do need it to kill Trinex, so still required, but that is definitely one of the big question marks right now.
Correct. Remembering that he has the mushroom that turn in. I always forgot what he wanted to, and he's going to do this nice attack here. Basically, Bush Mirror Bonk. It's going to be slightly faster than him, like running off screen, and then coming back and returning this mushroom.
Yeah, this is a check we haven't seen. Oh my!
Wow. All right. So
heard you like fetch quests, so. Why not, right?
Yeah, this could work out actually potentially well for Kohrek. Well, I guess I don't know. I forgot what's in desert.
Well, I mean, he'll get to.
Over.
Yeah, I mean, not having flute is not great because now he's gonna want to go over here instead of doing it the fast way. Like, he'll probably bombos into desert entry, I suspect. But that's not as fast as doing it with the flute and the mirror. So now it really depends on what is in Bombo's tablet, if he can get by this bomber guy. But yeah, I mean, this play makes a ton of sense if you're Kohrek, and it's not necessarily a bad play in the grand scheme of things. It's just anytime you have to do desert cutscene and run all the way there instead of fluting there, it's just slower. Meanwhile, Osse destroying blind, which, by the way, scripted fight, clear mouse. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that the first time, but I'm really glad you told me for the second time.
All right, so Bombo's tablet not having anything. So far that mushroom not paying any dividends. I mean, Kohrek will pick up that ice rod, so I mean, maybe that'll start getting him thinking Turtle Rock, Death Mountain for that flute. But
I think also GT Big Key was in desert. If I'm not mistaken, so that could be further motivation for him to go up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't get into GT without the Fire Rod, but yes, for sure. I wish we could, but this ain't entrance. All right, Kohrek, remembering that if you start right and go left, he overcame his NMG habits.
That's right. Because how often do you have the Desert Palace small key with you? Huh?
So wow, it's simultaneous GT key pickups, except one was slightly larger than the other. And now we know all about Thieves Town for both players.
And he's gonna also be able to pick up the Hera Big Key off the torch. So I don't remember if you actually mentioned that like 2 minutes earlier, and I just like had a memory lapse.
I mean, I wouldn't listen to what I was saying either, Clear Mouse. So I mean, really, you're doing yourself a favor at this point.
No. Oh, and wait, did we see Hera Basement from Osse? We must have, right?
I believe when he did it, maybe chat can bail me out since neither of us seems to remember. I believe he did not have the small key when he went there the first time, because remember, he went up very early to Death Mountain.
Right, yeah.
So you know, if something is in Hera Basement, you know, it's the classic dumb checks and key sanity, like Hera Basement, you know, Ice Palace big chest, you know, when those end up having items, they just completely change the the face of a race. So.
Yeah, alright, so when Kohrek goes back, assuming he does tile him, that's gonna be another check that he's gonna have over Osse. Of course, you know, because Osse had kind of got up there to Hera first, he did have silvers available for Lambo, so that was actually a relatively fast fight. Kohrek is gonna have to kind of make do here with Master Sword and the regular bow. So I know that he did practice MG a lot.
I suspect he'll probably use Ice Rod, because Ice Rod is still it's still 2 hits. It's just the projectile doesn't move as fast, but you can still get work done with it. So
And he does have the hammer too, so he does have like options. But yeah, it's definitely not the kind of common either fire rod or silver arrow like quick kill that we're kind of used to.
But yeah, so right now we are seeing things that either runner has done, but Kohrek had a pretty fast, pretty reasonable, straightforward Ice Palace, as I suspect Osse will have. As you mentioned, Kohrek is maybe losing a little bit of time on his entry into Desert just because he hasn't been up Dark Death Mountain for that flute yet. So yeah, I don't know. It's still a close race. I mean, we keep talking about it, but right now it's where is Pod Big Key, where is Fire Rod, and is one of them locked behind the other? because if that's the case, it'll just be first person to find that. And you know, Kohrek is going to end up, yeah. So he is ice rodding. Half Magic actually going to help him out here. This is actually harder than it looks because the ice rod projectile moves quite slowly. So if you have a bad landmo pattern, it can kind of get out of control. But Kohrek does manage to 2-cycle it, so good work there.
I was gonna say that was actually a pretty good fight. Considering he had a really nice recovery on the first cycle. Because he did miss the first landmo, but he managed to get that one down and the rest of them as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'll take it. He was probably, I mean, he's probably glad to. I mean, he found ice rod and a whole bunch of keys, so like he's not sad about it. So I mean, this was definitely worthwhile, but I mean, I think Kohrek is kind of slowly running out of things to do that aren't Dark Death Mountain. So I suspect that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, so I mean, so he doesn't have the flute. So if he's saving quitting and starting here, then this is going to be his second trip up the mountain.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
he has the book too. Yeah. So
I mean, he'll get the check ether.
Well.
So I mean, Kohrek is actually going to get, not only is he going to get ether tablet check, but I suspect he'll do Hera basement. I mean, he could skip it because it does take a lot of time and it is a tower room and it sucks. But, you know, in an all dungeon key sanity, sometimes you just want to full clear and be done with it. Yeah, Osse waving at the Ice Palace big chest. Because neither runner has had the big key. We have not found the Ice Palace big key yet. For all we know, Fire Rod or the Pod big key could be in there. So, all right, so here's ether tablet. This is another unique check we have not seen yet. Wow, so both tablets.
Unfortunate, yeah.
Straight garbage. All right, so yeah, I think ether having nothing means that Kohrek's real advantage for coming here late is going to be you know, Hera basement. And he's just straight up going for it.
Right,
Meanwhile,
that's exactly
setting up does get some hammer double hits in. Not quite as many as Kohrek, but he has been a lot more solid in the cleanup so far here.
Yeah, he's definitely using a lot more sword spins here to try and you know, keep the pups away from him.
Yeah, I think in the end, I think Kohrek might have done it a little faster, even though his phase went, just because he didn't have to wait for sword spins. But either way, definitely a solid kill. Or at least an acceptable kill from Osse there. Definitely much more interesting to watch than this garbage tower is. And then Kohrek misses
the sword beam. Sorry, Kohrek.
Well, it's just like, you know, I gotta sit here for this GD tower room and bah.
Oh,
okay.
That is a nice pickup, though.
You know, of all the non-required items that you could have gotten, you know, I had forgotten, actually, that Kohrek did not have the Hera big key. In my head, he had already picked it up, but that's not the case. So for Kohrek, that was just a straight up Hera basement while I'm up here and on the way play. So, but yeah, in terms of items that are not required that he could have gotten to speed up his run, Tempered Sword is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's actually, and depending on where that fourth sword location is, this actually could be quite the advantage for Kohrek, right? Because, you know, if Osse ends up kind of go-moding the rest of it and doesn't find another sword, right, Kohrek's going to have a much faster phase 1 and phase 2 for Ganon.
Well, and Osse is going to have a much faster swamp because he is coming in here armed with a hook shot. So
yes,
he'll be able to kind of steal a small key. I suspect he'll probably clear out left side would be my guess, but yeah, I think it's just going to be, this will be an area where he saves time over Kohrek for sure.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious to see if he will do left side. He probably will, right? Maybe, you know, because like he needs Fire Rod and he needs Pod Big Key, right? So it's still like conceivable maybe that he'll just do the backless one first. But I mean, normally for AD keys, I think you still do left side anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, but I suspect, you know, I could see him doing the back first. You know, it's possible. I mean, for all we know, both those required items could be back there, but yeah, who knows? Either way, Kohrek did pick up the flute. Now, I have seen Kohrek hover hookshot cape before. He is capable of it.
Absolutely, this is going to
But
be
it is
something
not
that he's
easy.
gonna
We
try.
saw Osse doing a setup and was not able to get it. So, you know, in a high pressure race scenario, it's a lot different than just kind of chilling on your own stream. So, Korek's going for the setup here. He's gonna have to kill some beeries.
He
Let's
was
see how he
practicing
does.
this. Yeah, he was practicing this before the race. So certainly, good luck to Kohrek. Looks like he got the first shot.
Oh, he gets it. All right. Wow, a pod small. All right.
Not sure if that's quite what he wanted to see. But at least, you know, he has some luxury now for getting all 6 potkeys. Oh no,
By the way, that bonk that he just did is a lot harder than it looks because you have to line up perfectly for that bonk to get you there. So for kids trying this at home, that is it just made it look easy.
Kohrek is diagonaling his way over.
Honestly, if you haven't tried to hover before, a lot of times it's easier to not look at the controller. So sometimes you will see runners going in kind of funky directions. Oh, so close. I wonder how much more time he's going to devote to this. All right, he's going back in. Meanwhile, Osse is, you know, is he going to? Okay, yeah, he is going to commit to left side swamp. Meanwhile, Kohrek finishing up that hover. All right, so hookshot cave does not have anything of value. So this will be something that Osse will come back to and spend time getting. Now, obviously, he won't have to hover it, so he could gain some time back there. But in terms of routing efficiency, I think Kohrek might come out ahead. So now Kohrek is going back in here. Still no fire rod. I think he just opened it and left. I don't remember. I've been drinking all day, clear mouse. I don't know where I am anymore. I got my pants in my head and I'm doing commentary. I don't remember who's been in where. But I suspect, I think Kohrek just opened it and then left. So yeah, that is the case because we've got a check here. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely assume that he wanted to try to do some of the overworld stuff, and then he's gonna probably try and make as much progress he can into Turtle Rock, and then probably end up doing Spike Cave at the end of his route. But of course, you know, he's gonna get the Harabiki, so he's gonna go over there anyway and probably finish off Harry and get the silvers.
yeah, definitely.
All right, Osse, we see a little bit more time gain for Osse over Kohrek, right? With that hook shot, he's gonna do left side swamp, and he's only gonna need drop down once versus twice.
Yep, that's definitely some time save. So there's that Hera big. So again, this is Kohrek will be coming back and finishing that up. So it's not like this dive has been a complete loss, at least in Kohrek's mind. But he is going to get to go further. I mean, he's got you know, he's got that big key. I mean, we could go, depending on what the small key situation is, could definitely go pretty far in here. So.
Yeah, and yeah, that's definitely one thing that Kohrek will have, or does have, over Osse, is that he picked up the Turtle Rock big key earlier, and, well, before he came to Turtle Rock this time around, so...
So what'll happen here is he'll pick up the small key from this pokey, not spend it on the door, and not hit Bunny.
Good job, Kohrek. Yeah.
Yeah, good job not actually opening up that door, which definitely has happened to some poor runners. You can all wave at the lava chest at Turtle Rock there. You aren't getting opened, at least not right now.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, that actually has happened to Kohrek in a previous race before. That it did not yield good results.
All right, so there's the pod big key. So Osse does pick that up. Really good diver down there by him. Did not waste any time running and picking up the pot to get out of the sort out animation. So really cool to see there. So yeah, right now it's just, where is that fire rod? If Fire Rod is on Laser Bridge, that would kind of be hilarious because Kohrek would not have enough small keys. The door to Trinex's room would be, or to the Crystal Switch maze would be locked by a small key.
Now, well, so, but if he does Spike Cave, there was a Turtle Rock small key there, right? So potentially maybe he would save a portal?
Yeah, that's,
oh, wow.
you could be right. And actually with that Hera big key that, you know, he just picked up, you know, he could end up going there. By the way, nice dash tapping from Osse there. Doing that with Master Sword is not easy. It's a lot of single frame inputs for a lot of buttons. So the fact that he got like 70% of those is impressive. So gets the nice silvers kill on the last phase of Argus. Very nice. And all right, another big key. Skull Woods.
Skull.
All right, actually, you know, I was expecting that is a lot better to see than Ice Palace. because I mean, you know, but the problem is that, you know, to get up there, he would really want to have the Fire Rod already, right? So if Fire Rod is in there, he would have to be committing to going up to Skull Woods without the Fire Rod, which is not fun.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say I was actually reminded that, you know, we had actually picked up the Swamp Small from Ice Palace on Cold Stair, so I think that actually could not have been the Ice Palace big key. Because logically we still need that Ice Palace big key.
No, very correct.
Yeah, and thank you, chat, for also reminding me that Kohrek has in fact beaten Aga 1, so there's no portal saving today for Kohrek at least.
Oh yes, yeah, that's not happening.
I totally forgot about about that as well. Despite our tracker, 2D Tones have definitely marked Castle Tower for Kohrek.
All right, so this laser bridge, no Fire Rod yet. We got one more chance. What do you got for us, Laser Bridge? Piece of heart. So Kohrek getting a little burned by not getting burned by the Fire Rod, so which is unfortunate. Man, I'm starting to wonder where this Fire Rod is. I mean, it could be further in Palace of Darkness. Oh, interesting. So Kohrek is not going to finish up Hera with that big key he got. Is instead opting to go somewhere else. I suspect he'll take that flute and he's gonna do Meyer.
Go to Meyer.
Yeah, and get all the rest of that stuff done. Maybe he's hoping he could pair, you know, Turtle Rock with, you know, Fire Rod or another small key or something like that. So, you know, this makes sense. And also, he's gonna end up getting, you know, the hook shot in Meyer, and he'll be not too far behind Osse at that point. So
yeah, and I think the only real notable item that we found in Hera was just the silvers, right? So it's just kind of like a quality of life improvement. The chances are maybe Osse will not end up getting tempered from a Hera basement. So it just could be like a trade-off at this point.
And you might be looking at the tracker right now and saying, wow, Kohrek's 2 dungeons behind, but he's about to get some of that time back because Osse is going to be doing Aga Tower, which is a solid, you know, 4 to 5 minutes depending. I guess he's pretty well geared out, so but yeah, it's multiple minutes, so Kohrek is going to get some of that back. Now obviously he needs to do all these other checks as well, but you know, and he did, you know, having done Desert the slow way is going to have cost him some time too, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I was also seeing some of that random muscle memory kind of pulling in, checking the medallion entry, even though Kohrek did have all 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it'll happen.
I mean, it happens, exactly, yeah. It's not something that you are super keen on.
So yeah, I mean, I guess in an inversion of the normal way that randos usually go is we are in a rod hunt, but it is not the ice rod. It is in fact the fire rod. So if you want, honestly, a fire rod, in my opinion, one of the most satisfying weapons to use in the game. It's got a cool animation. It makes a cool whoosh noise. You get to burn people down. Maybe I have a problem, Clear Mouse. Maybe I need therapy. Now that I'm thinking about this, pyromania is a thing.
You know, it could be a lot worse, Files.
The title of my autobiography could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and actually, you know, like, actually, just based on, you know, what we know from both our runners, I think actually this means that we don't need any of the GT basement, right? If we only need Fire Rod left, it doesn't look like, because Turtle Rock is a crystal, it can't be in GT, and so that means we can go mode. All we need to do is the ascent, right?
I believe that's correct. I mean, there's a lot of places that that Fire Rod could be, but yeah, I mean, we've basically got all of our pennant dungeons down. So yeah, you are correct. GT dead. It's the Key Sandy dream, Clear Mouse. You get done with all your stuff, and you get to go into Ganon's tower, and you just go straight to the top. Screw everything else. All those other checks, they don't matter. They suck. It's all about going to the top.
I mean, that's the fast path, right? It's like you have a ladder or something that just sends you straight up there.
We're going back to the Hyrulean theme park, or the Rando theme park.
Oh man!
What a callback, Clear Mouse. That was like an hour and like 20 minutes ago. I'm impressed. But yes, that is definitely true. That's a good thing to point out. So I mean, you know, we talked about a little bit, but a lot of times with all dungeons, it seems like you're running around doing a lot of checks, and then all of a sudden the last, you know, 15, 20 minutes, it's just dungeon, bam, bam, bam. So
Yeah, just straight execution.
yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, it's still anyone's game at this point. That fire rod is a big question mark, and it could be. There's a lot of places it could be. I mean, I hate to get chat's hopes up, but I mean, it could even be on the pestle. I don't think anyone's checked it.
And yeah, and actually, so I don't actually remember if Osse ended up turning in that mushroom. The book is not lit up on our tracker today. But you know, Osse, once he kind of finds that book, right? He has kind of isolated those tablet locations. So if he kind of goes back, Kohrek's actually going to gain a little bit of time over him because he was able to kind of combine the tablet checks together.
Yeah, that's very true. And as we both know, the tablets were kind of garbage. But Osse is heading towards where it makes a lot of sense to go. But yeah, he's gonna go to pod. He's got the big key.
He has enough small keys to clear this too, so he's gonna. The fire rod could be on Homelessor. That is certainly true. I think that's the one last trick we haven't seen. Oh, it could be Green Pendant. Oh wow, I totally forgot about this.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I was focusing on the one pendant related check when I should have been thinking about the easier one. But yes. But yeah, Osse's definitely got now. He had a little bit of trouble. I don't know if it was the sprite he was using or what when he was trying to set up hammer jump, but he still is at 5 small keys. So if he's not feeling confident on that hammer jump, which is totally understandable, he would have to go kind of the long way through the right side of pod to avoid having to open up that middle door, because I believe he did not open it up like his opponent did. So. All right, he's feeling confident. I like it. Or he actually might just be going when you're one item from go mode. I guess just going straight to the boss does make a lot of sense. So that is the correct plan for sure. So yeah, we'll be seeing Homelessor kill shortly here from Osse.
So he has the silvers, which will definitely make phase 2 a lot faster, and then he just needs the 17 hits to break the face. Yeah,
definitely. Meanwhile, we'll treat it to a glorious cutscene wall and Palace of Darkness here. Kohrek, I mean, again, he does have to full clear Meyer, so I mean, a lot of that time that we were talking about that was spent in Aga Tower was chewed up by just all these checks that were flute locked that Kohrek unfortunately ended up having to do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with no fire rod also means no spooky action for both these runner sides. So we're gonna, see some extra screens here for Kohrek to have to hit the switch.
Well, I mean, Halloween was a month and a half ago, Mouse, so I don't. There's no spookiness allowed. It's all. If this was the Christmas tree glitch, then I would 100% support it.
There was something like a jingle, right? Well, there was a jingle at least, right?
That's true. I mean, when the bombed wall opened, it was kind of a jingle. I'm feeling festive. We're gonna roll with that.
Yeah. So unfortunately here also for Kohrek, where he doesn't.
Was that a DoorDash for Osse in the pre-Homelessor hall there? It looks like it was. Yeah. Sorry, I totally cut you off. You were talking about Kohrek.
No. I mean, I was just gonna say that Kohrek, unfortunately, compared to Osse, does not have the silver, so his victory spice is gonna be a little bit slower. But Kohrek is pretty well versed with that cape and temper sword, so he's gonna go still relatively pretty fast, hopefully.
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna say until he accidentally poked those one eyes, the silvers for that first phase aren't like that incredibly slower or incredibly faster than like tempered sword spins with a cape. So. I mean, yeah, obviously you lose a little time, but it's not compared to other time losses between the two runners going back and forth. That's notable, but not like a huge one, I don't think.
All right, so Osse is now more than equipped to go back to Turtle Rock with that mirror shield for a laser bridge. Unfortunately, not the fire rod that we were looking for on Helma.
Yeah, so he's gonna come back in here. He's got the one key he has in his hand would be used for the vanilla big key chest, which is on the screen right now. But he's heading to the back here. He is going to have to hammer jump if he wants to preserve this key. So hopefully with a fresher mind, he's going to be able to come back here and just nail this hammer jump, pick up the 3 items back here and not have to worry about it. I guess he could save scum it if he's really not feeling it, but... Alright, so we're getting the setup here. Typically, when you see runners having a hard time with setups, it's because they're using sprites that totally cover Link's shadow, which is what a lot of runners use for their setup. So yeah, you gotta you gotta practice what you learn. So if you learn by screen cues, you gotta stick to those. If you learn by shadows, you gotta pick a sprite that has a shadow. But Osse does pull it off, so that's definitely well done. And that big chest ended up not being nothing. So we know, because Kohrek already checked these, I believe, that we know that Fire Rod is not in here. So
that is correct.
Kohrek also save scummed the key. So he basically checked everything in here, except for that one check. And we're about to see. And actually, I had forgotten, now that we've mentioned it, the Thieves Town small key right there.
Yeah.
That could be a way for Kohrek to get some time back here, because Osse is going to be thinking, oh crap, that bomb jump thing I could have done a while ago, and now I've got Thieves Town basement to worry about. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things that he has to do, that might not be super high on his list, but if he ends up going back in there, that could be a whole bunch of time left. So.
Yeah, I certainly don't see that being on the forefront of Osse's priorities, because, you know, like, he still does have that mushroom I think he potentially might turn in, and then once he gets the mushroom, he has, which is exactly what he's doing now, he's gonna get the book, and I don't know where that's gonna end up leading him either.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're just seeing.
Well, what? Osse!
Oh no. He's got graphical glitch on the hardware he's using, so
wow, I've never seen this.
Yeah, we might see a reset when he enters. Okay, it does reset. Okay.
Alright, Kohrek, now in the back of Swamp, so he picked up his pod big key, so he now is also in Fire Rod Go mode. So I imagine that Kohrek is well versed enough in the logic to kind of know what, in this case, like, he doesn't need to check anymore. Right, and I think actually one of the other places he doesn't need to check is Pyramid Theory. Or I guess he doesn't have access to it because of Turtle Rock, but that's also something that yeah, he's probably gonna go, like, just like Osse's gonna go straight to pod after this.
Yeah, and I suspect Osse is, so he's gonna do probably Ether Tablet here, and then Hera Basement, I suspect, is on the docket here. And then he could be considering, and I would not blame him if he considered a Turtle Rock dive. That would be really good news for Kohrek, because because that would invest the same amount of time that Kohrek spent on stuff that isn't the Fire Rod.
All right, running right past Hera Basement, Osse is looks like you're on the mark today, Files. He's gonna probably this is probably Turtle Rock dip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why else he would be going here. The only thing I could think of is that since he has 4 small keys, which Kohrek did not have, Fire Rod could be in the lava chest in Turtle Rock, which would be absolutely hilarious to me.
Oh my gosh, that would be so bad, Files. Oh, he has hookshot key.
But I mean,
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it slipped my mind because there's nothing there. But yeah, there is definitely Hookshot Cave. But I mean, there's still other gross places to check. Like we got Skullwood's big chest left. It's worth noting that Kohrek's Palace of Darkness is going to be pretty fast here because he save scum the key. Like he's just going to go in and kill Helmsar and be done. He does not have to do any other checks. So, but he does have a like a Tower of Hera clear behind Osse as well. So yeah, this is big news for Kohrek because Osse is going to spend the same amount of time that he did not finding a Fire Rod. So. Again, assuming it's not in Lava Chest, which it very well could be.
Well, I mean, so we still have some options, you know, not on the mountain that we haven't seen from either runner side, right? As you said, Skullwood's big key, Skullwood's big chest is an option. We now have all 3 pendants in our possession, so we could pull pen. I think Kohrek has not checked. Oh no, Kohrek still needs to go up the mountain in order to get a screen pendant. That's right.
Yeah, you're right. I'd like to make a small correction. I was corrected in chat. I had forgotten Kohrek does have to do the big chest in pod because he did not have the big key. So yeah, that will be something he has to go and do.
But I think in this case, Kohrek, he picked up 6 pod keys somewhere, right? I mean, like he definitely had everything, so. He's not gonna have to worry about any like key saves.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll see the chest still unopened, but that's because he save scummed the vanilla big key chest while he was here. So, all right, it's a moment of truth. Osse is about to head into the lava chest. So if this is in fact a Fire Rod.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
That is such an awful placement for that fire rod. Holy cow!
Kohrek.
I'm so
yeah,
sorry,
he's in
Kohrek.
trouble.
That
I mean,
is-
that'll be the last place he checks. When you go into Turtle Rock with 3 small keys,
is so bad.
and no, I mean, you're just committing to no item being there. So, yeah, that's bad news for Kohrek. I don't really see.
But it's just,
I don't
it's
really
just
see
so
how he
awful.
recovered. Yeah, I mean, I think what'll end up happening is that Osse's gonna finish this up, finish up Turtle Rock. Honestly, you know, it's one of those rando things, you know, where you know, you make the safe plays, you make the gambles where you're gonna gamble, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But definitely props to Osse for, you know, we talked about it when he was in here before. He was making the, you know, he didn't commit to Mimic Cave. Like, he definitely was like, I'm gonna come back to Turtle Rock when I can full clear it, and I'm better armed and I can do more things. And that decision definitely paid off for him. I mean, falling into a cliff because you're so excited about your fire rod is not what I would recommend. But.
I mean, like, either way, though, like, the fact that the fire rod is locked before all 4 Turtle Rock small keys, and one of the Turtle Rock small keys was also in Spike Cave, right? It's just really, I mean, it's just such terrible item placements.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you know, like, that's rando.
That's
one of those things
rando.
you have
No,
to
you're
account for.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as we talked about, the fire rod could just as easily have been in, you know, like Skullwood's big chest, which is, you know, that's, you know, a vanilla fire rod. I mean, like, items are never in their vanilla spots in Randomizer. Mouse. I don't know if you knew that. All right, so Kohrek's setting up for hammer drip number 2 of his run here. Hoping that fire rod is in here, but that is not the right chest. So yeah, I think if the fire rod hadn't been in there, Kohrek, while still behind, would still have been in it. I think the you know, the time that Osse would have spent in here, that Kohrek had also wasted, you know, would have been gotten back and things would have been a little closer. But yeah, I think it's hard to see a path forward for Kohrek on this one. He's gonna go everywhere that isn't the lava chest in Turtle Rock looking for that fire rod.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess, though, like, he probably doesn't have much else that's left not on the mountain, so he's gonna check the Swallow's big chest here, and then,
Oh, yeah,
you know, assuming he does make it up the mountain, he's gonna clear Hera first, and then he's probably gonna check Spike Cave before heading into Turtle Rock, and so that'll, I guess, at least get him, like, it'll get him on the right path. At least,
definitely.
yeah, and at least, like, for Kohrek, he has a sword advantage over Osse, so his, you know, dungeon clears and enemy kills are going to be a little bit faster. You know, Osse is going to, I mean, unless he checks for a sword and there is one, like, on GT Ascent, he's just going to be on Master Sword for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I the only way I could see Osse picking up any more chests is if, like, it's like the chests you walk right by, like in GT, and even then, like, I know I'm not really sure why you would take the time to open them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe the 2 at the top of GT or something, but
yeah, maybe like Primordium Cave. Yeah, I mean, like the temper does save quite a bit of time if you can get it. But yeah, it's also like he also has to, like, kind of weigh, like, where he thinks he is in the match.
yeah, I'm curious what small key this could be that Kohrek would still want.
Is this a Turtle Rock small key for us?
Oh yeah, Turtle Rock. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yep. And in fact, that is an important small key for him.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, this could be. I mean, he still needs another one in Logic though, because he's got.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because lava chest existing means that, yeah, he's gonna. So if he goes in there, because the last one is in Spike Cave. Which I don't believe Kohrek has done yet.
Yeah, correct. Because he got all the way to Laser Bridge and did not find the fire rod, and then he couldn't really get out, so it wasn't convenient for him to kind of go back to Hera and to do Spike Cave.
So I think he's gonna probably do Hera first.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
And then consider. I mean, there's so many keys in here. I do lose track, but yeah, I believe he has not done the Spike Cave Turtle Rock small yet. So do get to see a fire rod item dash from Osse there.
Oh,
Always
and Kohrek here coming in with the hookshot. We're gonna see some Hera pod action, which I don't think Osse had the luxury of doing.
Yeah, having a little trouble with the setup. with hook speed like that, you move so fast that it's almost like, you know, well, you'll see a lot of people buffer it. You'll see a lot of people just kind of hard forcing it, and depending on how long your buffers take, hard forcing it, even if you miss 4 or 5 times, can still be faster than, you know, buffering a whole bunch. So
yeah, and plus it also doesn't take away any health because you don't need to like do any bomb setups or anything like that, and you know, kind of cost more resources.
I mean, happy to see silvers, I'm sure, but yeah, that's not.
Yeah, not quite the thing you were hoping for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so certainly Kohrek is really hoping that the fire rod drops here, because if the fire rod drops here, then he doesn't need another TR small key, right? He can just go straight to Trinex and then go to GT.
Yeah, and if wishes were horses, clear mouse.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just hopefully, you know, thinking from Kohrek's perspective, right? I mean, we unfortunately as commentators and viewers know that that's not going to be the case, but...
All right, so yeah, green pendant pickup, and so I mean the key here is will Kohrek go do Spike Cave before committing to like Lava Chest or something like that, because you know he knows he can't. Spending a key, yeah, there he goes. Because spending a key in to like open up the door to Turtle or to Trinex's room is meaningless because you know it doesn't unlock you any items and you still need the fire rod. So so yeah, Kohrek will pick up that key here. He'll be at 4 keys. And I'm trying to think of what else it is he needs to do, like what else he has left to do. Rather, we know what he needs to do.
I mean, so after he finishes Turtle Rock, he'll most likely climb GT, and then he'll go back and finish Skullwoods.
Well, that'll be tough because Skullwoods is a crystal, so yeah, he'll have to do what Osse did and yeah, and go back. All right, so he's not committing to.
Oh, he wants to turn it. Oh, it looks like he wants to do pendant turn in. So green pendant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, because if Fire Rod is here, then he's wasted even more time. He's like, I don't want to dive Turtle Rock like for the 4th time. I get it. Like it makes sense. Yeah. It's not right, but I get it.
Oh, but it's just such a bad choice or like option for you, right? Because like if it's not here, which we know it's not, then you have to make another mountain trip, right? It's just like you just have a no-win situation.
Let me make up for that bad feels by some feels good, man. Osse just got to experience the Key Sanity dream where he just entered GT, didn't have to go left or right. He's like, take me to the top floor. I got to see a man about some blue balls. Or 3 men
of them, right? Yeah.
Blue balls. Well, I gotta see 1 man and 2 phantoms that always don't shoot blue balls. All right, the metaphor is breaking down.
All right, okay, so we're gonna get some chat appeasement here. Kohrek, I'm sure, is just gonna blindfold Pedestal here for the fans.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be. I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
This
race has everything. It's got exciting gameplay, cool item locations, great routing execution, and we're getting a blind pull pedestal. He's even preserving the back of Skullwood's entry, so just in case Fire Rod is here, he'll be able to make a fast work of it.
Right.
Kohrek is the eternal optimist. That's what I like to see. Is he gonna?
Unfortunately, you can tell probably you know how Kohrek feels about playing inverted because you know it's not often you get to mirror from Dark World to Light World.
Oh man, Kohrek's already like he's just gonna be so pissed. He blind pulls pedestal for a green rupee.
At least he found I think both green rupees, right? I think he found one probably in somewhere.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. You know, maybe in his mind, he's like, his subconscious was trying to tell him it's not in pedestal. I'm gonna get rid of this portal. So now he knows it's in Lava Chest, right? He's full clear the game.
I mean, but it's just such a bad decision, right? It's like you turn in green pen, you go full ped, or you know, at the cost of 1 mountain trip, right? Or you dive and go all the way to Turtle Rock.
I mean, the minute you go into Turtle Rock with only 3 small keys, which is by the way, a very common thing that happens all the time in Key Sanity Seas and cross keys and everything like that. Well, I guess it matters less in cross keys. But the minute you do that and you skip lava chest, like you're committing that to that decision if you don't have the small keys. So it's one of those live or die by decisions, because when you decide to skip that, you're not going to go back and do it when you have more efficient checks to make. So I think Kohrek was kind of in trouble regardless. All right, Osse does opt to check one of the easy chests here just in case it's a sword. I'm curious to see if he'll do the pre or post Moldorm 2 chests. All right, doesn't want that one. He doesn't want the magic, though. No reason to turn that down. Especially when you've got to do Master Sword Ganon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually had not been keeping track of these runners' safeties, but I think Osse does have a red potion. I did not see a green one being picked up. Or...
wait, we know he's got a red potion just from picking it up. But I mean, with half magic, you really don't need too much.
That's true, yeah.
So, all right, let's see what's in the meme chest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Meme chest, sword. Nah, come on. I suspect the third sword is probably somewhere in the mess of 4,000 Ganon's Tower chests that we don't need to look at. So
yeah, I think we've already checked literally everywhere else. That's not GT at this point between both our runners.
Yeah, I believe you are correct, Clearmouse. All right, so let's see what the get out your protractors, your compasses, and freshen up on your sines and cosines, because it's the geometry fight.
I always like tangents. Unfortunately, just a double there.
Way to go off on a tangent there,
Clearmouse. Yeah.
I'm not proud of that one. All right, here it is. Kohrek picks up his fire rod. No rage slashes. No bomb drops. He used up all of his energy slashing that Skullwood's mirror mirror bonk. And you could tell Kohrek is just not happy, like bonking on that wall there is just like, ugh. He knows he's in trouble, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's not, as you said, Files, multiple times at this point, it's not like, he did really anything unreasonable or even wrong, right? Going to GTR with 3 small keys is very, very normal and common.
Well, I mean,
and it just
I would argue that it was technically wrong in this seed, but yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's like, can you predict what the fire is going to be in lava chest, right? Like
very cool Canis Samaria tech from Osse there, getting the double spins in from Master Sword Ganon. And I was gonna say I wasn't counting fully. He might have. Oh, Ganon teleports to a good spot twice in a row. So now he's getting multiple Canis Samaria. Very, very nice Master Sword Ganon tech from Osse here. You really like to see it. Unfortunately, the sheer amount of lag means I think he's gonna have one more cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Clearmouse. I really like to see Canis Samaria Master Sword tech from Ganon. It's definitely cool to see.
Oh yeah, and in fact, we're only going to see this on one side, right? Because Kohrek has Temper Sword, so when he comes and fights Ganon, he is just going to do probably some more MMG base strats.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and yeah, as you said though, like doing Master Sword Ganon for phase 1, especially Canis Samaria, is actually quite difficult, right? And the whole point is to try and reduce the amount of knockback. Osse did, definitely demonstrated how well practiced he is in some of these fights.
All right, we'll see how Kohrek is getting to do Trinex here with full Tempered Sword. So his quick swap to Rod game is going to be a little bit faster than Osse's was. All right, good heads-up play from Osse there. Not holding a direction while the Ganon bats damage him, so he doesn't go flying anywhere. So that's heads-up play, even though he kind of mis-executed the spin. Again, Master Sword Ganon just a pain in the butt.
All right, looks like Osse is taking down Ganon, so he just needs to cross this bridge, and then he will be our first place winner of this race between Osse and Kohrek.
Yeah, get your GGs out in chat. Yeah, for sure. Looks like Osse finishing up an official time of 148.29. Or excuse me, 148.15. I can't read. Never learned how to read.
It's okay. As long as you're good with numbers.
So yeah, that's another that's a big win for Shacktool's digging game there. Gives another 3 more points here. Yeah, and it looks like Kohrek is potentially giving a forfeit there. Can't say I blame him. He's got a whole Skull Woods and GT climb, and is probably just that lava chest fire rod. Clearmouse.
Yeah, no, that was so unfortunate. No one wants to see fire rod there.
No. So it looks like we are joined by Osse. Osse, GG.
GG, Osse.
Hey, GG.
That was quite the seed. There were I mean it was the quest for Pod, Big Key, and Fire Rod for a while.
Yeah. I found that in the seed, like putting off mountain a whole lot really helped me. Because I know I wouldn't
sorry, go
have
ahead.
the flute earlier if I like didn't have hookshot for Dark Mountain. So the flute and the fire rod was really helped by putting off mountain.
But yeah, we saw even when you were up there in Dark Death Mountain and in Turtle Rock, we saw you kind of consider, like, were you considering going all the way like to Mimic Cave and then before bailing? Like, was that just like a time investment decision, or?
Yeah, I was thinking Mimic Cave. I thought I could get something else, but then rethought it, and it's just the one chest, so I left.
Yeah, it's a long walk.
Something you could have done though with Mimic Cave is the save scum on the lava chest. That would have worked out really well here.
Yeah, Fire Rod in the lava chest, a very skippable chest and a lot of key sanity seeds for sure. But yeah, you nailed it getting up there with the 4 keys and getting some important league points for your team, and because I know your division is very competitive.
Yeah, super competitive division. We fell behind a bit last week, but now we should be back on top, securing our lead.
That's the way to do it. But yeah, the seed was definitely interesting. There was a lot of stuff going on. Like you said, put it like delaying the Death Mountain climb. Like, did you feel that like getting the flute like earlier or rather than later like was a big difference? Like, like maybe expand more on that?
So I thought I had boots earlier by not doing mountain, and then I got mitts there with the boots, and I wasn't going to do just Super Bunny on its own for a long time. But light mountain into Super Bunny is fine, and that got me the flute, and the flute was desert and mire, and there's some goodies in there.
Yeah, hookshot is definitely a nice pickup. Were you worried at all about like Thieves Town basement small key pickup late at all, or is that just kind of one of those things where it's like, meh, I'll check it when I can get to it? Or
yeah, do you like that 6th try bomb jump?
Yeah. We definitely saw you kind of struggling a bit there, especially for the first time you were in pod.
Yeah, first time by Thieves Town, I was waiting for the small key, and then turns out I would have got it if I got the bomb jump the first time through pod. And then Thieves Town ended up having a lot of value, so that felt kind of bad.
yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in there, and in fact, the dungeons in this game seem to have a lot of keys for other dungeons, just kind of across the board, which I guess will happen in a key sanity seed, I suppose.
I guess I'm curious early on, so like when you were first in Spectacle Rock, like if you had actually succeeded doing, I guess the bomb jump back, like I assume you would have just kept going, like on the mountain, but instead you went to High Cave.
That's right. Would have kept going.
Oh, sometimes things work out in your favor, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, GG, man. It was definitely it was a fun race to watch. You got to pull out a lot of cool tech. You had some Ancilla fake flipper stuff. You did the Kern bomb jump. Yeah, it was cool to see.
Yeah, we did see you. Sorry. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that sword at Zora Ledge. Turns out I really needed it because I never got a 3rd.
Oh yeah, we watched you at the very end run past Hera basement, even though you had the Hera small, and that was where Kohrek's 3rd sword was.
It's almost questionable if taking the time to do that would have been worth the. I mean, you crushed that Ganon phase 1 and 2 with the Samaria block strats too, so it's probably questionable as to whether or not that would have been a time save. So
I was already thinking Laser Bridge wasn't worth the time for Tempered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and who knows where the I suspect the last sword was probably somewhere in GT. You did get to live the Key Sanity dream of entering Ganon's tower and going straight to the top and being in go mode. That's always a feels good moment.
Yeah, you hate going into GT looking for pendant progression.
Yeah, exactly.
Castle Tower keys.
All right, well, yeah,
yes.
congratulations on your win there, Osse. It was definitely a pleasure watching and seeing a cool match.
Yeah, it's a big win.
Yeah.
Good.
Any words of encouragement for your teammate and the upcoming match?
Yeah, so that's tomorrow afternoon. I set them up for you. So we just got to get our win over Team Veto the acronym.
You want to not only veto their acronym, you want to veto their points for this week. I like it. Excellent. So yeah, make sure you again this division is incredibly competitive, as are a lot of divisions. Honestly, the end of this league is always interesting. Every game matters for people trying to make playoffs and what have you. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned. So I think that'll about wrap it up for us here on SpeedGaming 2 for this match. So yeah, keep on watching, and there's lots of great content coming up between league and everything else. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in the next mission.
Have a good night.